Now the next part of our quiz asks us to draw a graph of this equation, this function right here. Now you'll notice this has an x squared and an x in it. Those two variables, when we plug in numbers, you're going to plug the same number in for both x's. Okay? If they were different numbers, then we'd have a z here or a u or a w or something like that. And it says to graph it for x between 0 and 6. Well, basically what that means is I don't even need to use this left side because I'm graphing it between x is 0 and 6. So my graph's going to sit right in here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refer you back to this first problem. When I was talking, I said whenever you want to graph something, use a t-chart right there. Okay, so we're going to set up a t-chart and then graph. So here's my t-chart. I'm going to pick some x values and plug them in and get out y values. So because I need to go between 0 and 6, I'm just going to plug in, let's say, 0, 2, 4, and 6. Now, a lot of you feel like, oh, I need to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you want to, that's fine. It'll give you a much better picture of what's going on. But I usually start with just a few points and then fill in blanks as I need to. Cool? And then it's just simply writing down the equation, plugging in the number, finding out what y is. So y equals 0 squared minus 6 times 0 plus 7. Well, 0 squared is 0 minus 0 plus 7, so y equals 7. Okay? So when x is 0, y is 7. I can graph that right here. All right? Well, let's do it again. I saw a lot of you guys with blank pages and you were doing this in your head. And you made mistakes. If you did it in your head, if I didn't see this written down, I took points away. And if you can show me where you wrote this down, then I can give you your points back. But you've got to write this stuff down. All right? As I mentioned in the last problem, there are good reasons why. I'm not just trying to be mean. You guys know me. I'm never mean. 2 squared is 4. Minus 6 times 2 is 12 plus 7. Let's see. 7 plus 4 is 11. So 11 minus 12 is equal to negative 1. So when x is 2, y is negative 1. So let's go over 2 and down to negative 1. Let's put in 4. Y equals 4 squared minus 6 times 4 plus 7. 4 squared is 16 minus 24 plus 7. 16 plus 7 is 23, so 23 minus 24 is negative 1. Wait a minute. I got y is negative 1 for both of those. Let's go check my math. 4 squared is 16. 6 times 4 is 24. It's negative with a 7. 16 plus 7 is 23. 23 minus 24 is negative 1. The math's right. So since the math's right, I have to remember when I did this before, I was like, wait a minute, this is linear. It can't be right. But this is no longer linear. It's a parabola. And if you remember, a parabola can have two different y's for one x. You'll see that in a second. But if you're not sure, but you've checked your math, well, let's just move forward and kind of hope things work out. So if I have x is 4, y is negative 1, let's graph it. That's where that point goes. Let's try another point, 6. Y equals 6 squared minus 6 times 6 plus 7. That's 36 minus 36 plus 7. Y equals 7 when x is 6. We have a 7 here as well. Well, let's graph it. 6 comma 7. What we notice is that we have this graph, if I can get it to you, we have this graph where all these points are symmetrical. And then we remember, oh yeah, I remember that parabolas are symmetrical. So there's a line right down the middle where they reflect. And that point reflects across that line, and that point reflects across that line. So that must mean somewhere on this line there's a minimum, because it's going this direction, where they're going to meet. Okay, and I need to figure out what that is. So I should probably put 3 in for x to find out what y is here on this minimum. So let's do that. Y equals 3 squared minus 6 times 3 plus 7. That's 9 minus 18 plus 7. Well, 9 minus 18 is negative 2. Sorry, I'm way ahead of myself. 9 minus 18 is negative 9. Plus 7 is negative 2. So I'm going to put a negative 3 comma negative 2 right there. Now we can see the symmetrical pattern here. So let's draw in our parabola. Now some of you folks are getting a ruler out and you're drawing straight lines between these dots. But in a parabola, there are no straight lines. Okay? You can't use a ruler because that'll mean you're off. All right? Now, while my freehand isn't going to be perfect, it's going to be better than what you get with a ruler because there aren't any straight lines in a parabola. Cool? So here we are. Now it says, let's see, draw the graph of y equals x squared plus 6x plus 7. Got that. Now it says state the coordinates of the minimum point of the graph. Well, the minimum simply means the lowest point, and that's right there. And what's that coordinate? It's 3 comma negative 2. Bam, we're good there. State the line of symmetry for the graph. Now, for a lot of you, I got this. That is not a line, that's a number. A line is defined by an equation. Y equals, okay, y equals, or an x equals. In this case, it's x equals because this line, everywhere along this line, x is equal to 3. X is 3 here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. It's always equal to 3. So the equation for that line is x equals 3. Okay? And then it says find the x-intercepts of the graph using the graph. Now, I didn't say that when I had it on the test, but I had to tell you guys that. I fixed it since then. Round your values to 1 decimal place. And so it's very simple. You just look at this and you go, okay, that's the x-intercept and that's an x-intercept. So this x-intercept is about, I don't know, 1.6. So it's at, I almost made the same mistake. It's at 1.6 comma 0. And the other x-intercept is at about maybe 4.4 comma 0. And those are my x-intercepts rounded or estimated to the nearest decimal place. All right? That's it. That's that one. So this doesn't seem to have much of a real-world application. So I'm going to talk to you about what engineers do a little bit with this thing.